Well, the debate over working women and stay-at-home moms may be interesting political theater, and it's not really a debate on that front, but it barely does scratch the surface when it comes to the real pressures that face families and women, whether they work or not, outside the home. Now, instead, the conversation apparently sounds, again, a lot like it did 20 years ago.
I could have stayed home and baked cookies and had teas, but what I decided to do was to fulfill my profession, which I entered before my husband was in public life.
Betsy Myers is founding director of Bentley University Center for Women in Business. She also chaired Women for Obama during the '08 campaign and was a senior advisor on women's issues to President Clinton. Betsy, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Hi, Chuck. Good morning.
Good morning. I want to start with the part of this debate that we supposedly sparked a debate, but of course we're not debating this part, and that is sort of the in-between here, this idea that somehow there was a debate between whether women should choose between working or staying at home, and whether staying at home means you work or not. But there's this sort of the in-between aspect of this, the pressures that women face, whether they're the judgmental aspect of deciding to work outside the home or not work outside the home. So I just want you to start with that for me.
Well, I think really what women really want is just the choice to choose whether they want to stay home or work. But the truth is, what most and many women are struggling with is trying to do both, trying to work and have a family. And that's why one of the big conversations that are going on, and a lot of corporate America is actually tackling this issue of workplace flexibility. How do we create an environment where women and men, because men today are really involved in their children's lives, and how do we create an environment at work where people can both have a career but also raise a family?
And what is it that you feel as if should be a debate? I mean, is there something on the federal level? Should we be having a debate about this issue? Should there be new laws, new anything that needs to be done, or is this more of a social, cultural conversation that, the business community should have?
Well, I mean, I do think that there is always public-private relationship, how government and corporate America can work together on these issues, but particularly on the issue of flexibility, workplace flexibility. Because one of the things that we're doing at the Center for Women in Business at Bentley is looking at this issue, why in 2012 that we still only have 12 to 14% of the top jobs in corporate America are held by women. Why is that? And what's fascinating and really exciting, I think, is that corporate America is starting to say, wait a minute, we know we have to harness all of the incredible brain power and the business case that companies who have more women in higher positions make more money, they're more profitable. So companies like the accounting firms are leading the charge, Price Waterhouse, Ernst & Young, some of the insurance companies like Farmers Insurance are really trying to tackle this issue, and they're saying we cannot take our company to the year 2020 with a mostly white male workforce. We won't be competitive. And I think it's the same thing in politics. The world has changed, and women will re-elect the president. You know, Bill Clinton was re-elected by 17 points. Obama won by women. Obama won by 13 points by women. We've had a gender gap since 1980, so I think we have to change the conversation. And I think why people have gotten so riled up is this is a stale conversation. Isn't this? We need to change the dialogue and create new conversations about where we are today, not where we were 20, 30 years ago.
I want to go to the politics of this a minute. And one part of it was the amazing distancing, how quickly the Obama campaign, and of course the president and vice president, almost put as much distance as they could from Hillary Rosen. And in fact, Babe Buchanan, who is a surrogate for the Romney campaign, criticized the Obama team for that. I want to play what she said and get your reaction.
You distance yourself from the words. You don't distance yourself from the person. Hillary has been enormously loyal and committed to this president, and to have them to spend a day just trying to distance themselves, say she's not an advisor, she's not this, that is unacceptable to me. She has been too good to them for them to treat her this way.
You agree with Bay?
I actually heard that last night when I was looking at the clips, and yeah, she seems to be the only one that kind of stuck up for Hillary. And I think Hillary's tried to retract what she was saying, and but I think it's an interesting. But it's more that I think it's that this is this women's issues and these struggles that women have been fighting for so long. It's such a hot issue, but I think we have to move away from this, what you were saying, manufactured, and go to the real issues of what we're talking about. Oftentimes, stay-at-home mom is a luxury to be a stay-at-home mom, and I think what Hillary was trying to get at, which is that wow, this is single moms trying to raise kids, trying to juggle two working parents because there's not enough dollars to go around for one to stay at home. So these are the issues: workplace flexibility, equal pay for equal work. I mean, these are the kinds of issues that I think we need to look at and move off this issue that's kind of, right, I think, created a firestorm, and really more about let's try to look at these issues and talk about what we can do about them instead of these crazy fights. And these kind of fights, actually, right, where this, it keeps people away from the polls, which right, I think is, we want to engage people.
And of course now, for all we know, because of what happened, both parties will be afraid to actually talk about the middle part of this issue that nobody's talking about. Anyway, Betsy Myers, thank you for joining me from Boston this Friday. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chuck.
Well, will Friday the 13th spook Wall Street?